and Twitter and YouTube and all of those streams now, as a matter of fact. And we invite you to join us here so you can see our guest in studio in person. In fact, a very special guest here with us. Brother Leon Ford is here, man. Hey, brother.
Good
How you feel,
morning.
man? Good
I'm
to
well.
see
How
you.
are you?
All right, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here, man. How's everything going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Blessed, man.
So Leon's got a book. This cover is really a powerful cover for those of you who can see it.
Thank you.
The crime scene tape is like a noose around your neck. Is that
Yes,
what it
sir.
is? Wow. Untold, Testimony and Guide to Overcoming Adversity by Leon Ford. We want to share your story, brother. So tell us what happened to you. This is a police incident. You were shot.
Yes, sir. So I was actually shot 5 times by a Pittsburgh police officer
Yeah.
during a traffic stop where they thought I was another guy named Lamont Ford. Even after I provided my driver's license, my registration, my car insurance, my car was registered to me, but they just insisted that I was this other guy named Lamont Ford, who they said was a criminal. They said that they were looking for him, but through trial, we found out that Lamont Ford didn't even have a warrant. So even if it was Lamont Ford, they still had no reason to detain me for as long as they did, and
How long did they detain you?
over 20 minutes.
And in that 20 minutes, you also shot.
Yes. They said they thought I had a gun.
When was this?
November 11th, 2012.
How old are you?
I'm 24 now. I was actually 19.
You're driving,
Yes.
and they just pulled you over.
Yes.
What made them pull you in the first place?
So at first they said that I was speeding,
Mm-hmm.
and then they said that I ran a stop sign. Then they said I looked suspicious. So there's
Just a progression
throughout,
of foolishness.
yes, throughout their different stories, they pretty much changed um, their story multiple times. Even the shooting, they said they saw a gun, but there was no weapons, no drugs found on me or in my vehicle. Then they said that they feared for their lives. They said I was trying to run a police officer over. Then that lie was the truth came out, and then the officer said that when he jumped, officer actually jumped inside my vehicle, and he said I drug him. Yes, and so the video showed that that was not accurate either.
There's video of the whole incident.
Yes, sir.
Leon Ford's story, folks. Where can people see the video? Where is?
The video is on YouTube. If you YouTube my name, Leon Ford, the videos will come up.
Okay, while we're talking, we're going to do that and show it to us. Folks, we're going to get this video, so you want to get us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, make it plain, so you can see this. Okay. They were looking for Lamont Ford.
Yes, sir.
So they pulled you over allegedly for speeding.
Yes.
And when they pull your name up, if your name is Leon Ford, how did they get to Lamont?
So,
I mean, it's clearly two different. Leon ain't even nowhere near close to Lamont.
So the officer testified that there are multiple ways to spell Leon, and so he.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't do this. What?
Yeah, he testified in trial that there are multiple ways to spell Leon, and so he decided to type in L Ford in the system, and when he typed in L Ford, he ran a search of people who had arrest records and stuff like that, and he came up with Lamont Ford. And also during the trial, when he was confronted and asked what are the other ways to spell Leon Ford, he literally said Leoooon, and this was while under oath in the federal trial.
That still don't spell Lamont, right?
Right.
Lamont has an M and a T. Where was this officer from? Uh, the
Somewhere
country or
in
something
the
or what?
suburbs. Yes.
Okay, that this is. So, tell us about. So you said the officer jumped in the car.
Yes.
So pick it up from there. When did the shooting occur?
So,
Because I'm looking for this video too. But go ahead.
in the video, these officers, um, while they're standing next to my door, they're telling me, they're going to pull my black ass out the car.
Uh-huh.
They're telling me what they're going to do to me if they find out that I'm lying about who I am.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided I was going to stay inside the car. I didn't want to get out the car. So the two officers on the left side of the vehicle decided to go hands on, while the officer who actually shot me jumped in on the passenger side. And so even though they said that they seen a gun, they didn't draw their weapons. They didn't say, put your hands up. They decided to force me and pull me out the car. And so there's just, struggle inside the car, and I actually pulled off. And, when I pulled off,
Were they in the car when you pulled off?
so that night I didn't actually know the officer jumped in on the passenger side.
Okay.
And so yes, he was in the car, and he instantly start firing.
Wow. And you were shot 5 times. Where?
5 times. I was shot 3 times in my chest, once in my arm, and once in my hip.
So what happened next? Were you unconscious or at that point?
So the car crashed.
And they shot you in your chest, so they were trying to kill you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the car crashed, and the officers pulled me out the vehicle. They slammed me on the ground face down. They handcuffed me. Um, they're screaming, "Where's the guns? Where's the drugs?" And one of the officers actually knelt down by my head and told me that he hoped that I would die over repeatedly.
Did they? So at what point did they call the paramedics or anything?
So the paramedics just came once the shots went off, and they were saying shots fired over um, their walkie-talkie, their system. Paramedics came a few minutes later, but the officers never rendered first aid, never tried to. They just handcuffed me and waited for the ambulance to come.
So you went into the ambulance in custody.
Yes.
Okay. They were taken to the hospital,
Yes, sir.
and obviously the doctors were able to save you,
Yes, sir.
but it paralyzed you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So walk us through what happened after you came to.
And so the bullet that actually paralyzed me went through my chest, right close to my heart. And when I woke up in the hospital, I had tubes and stuff down my throat. I was shackled to the bed. I was under police custody. Um, before they never did an investigation. We found that out through trial. They never really interviewed the officers. They never interviewed me. They just charged me
And charged you with?
Aggravated assault, resisting arrest, and if there was a few other misdemeanors that they charged me with. And so within less than 48 hours, I was charged by these officers. And I woke up in the hospital, and doctors, they told me, we have good news, we have bad news. The good news is you're going to survive. The bad news is you're paralyzed. You'll never walk again.
What was your reaction when you heard that the first time?
I was devastated, um, but I also was in so much pain, you know, that I just there was nothing I could do, just pray and
Was it any relief that you even survived? Did you think you were going to die?
yes,
Okay.
I thought I was gonna die. And even when I was laying on the ground, I just wanted to live. I had a son. My girlfriend at the time, she was pregnant with my son, and I
Mm.
just knew I wanted to live to meet my son because I have a special relationship with my dad, and my mom, and so I'm like, I just want to meet my son, and so he was actually born while I was in the hospital, January 1st. I was up on the seventh floor, and he was born on the fourth floor.
So what was the time difference between the shooting and your son being born? What day?
Um,
What day was this
no,
incident?
I was shot November 11th, and
Okay.
my son was born January 1st.
And so you were still in the hospital.
Yes, sir.
Leon Ford with us, folks. Calls 866-99-SIRIUS if you have any questions. So you were charged. Trial.
Yes.
What happened?
Trial was found not guilty of the
Ju-
aggravated assault charges,
Okay.
and the jury, they were deadlocked on the resisting arrest. Um, the district attorney ended up deciding not to refile them charges, and then I, began to pursue my civil rights lawsuit against the city.
Which you won.
Yes,
You
yes.
kind of looked hesitant about that. You.
Um, because it was a settlement.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a settlement. Which I had to think deeply about what I wanted to do. So we went through a long civil trial where we crushed the city. You know, however, the jury. I mean, out of over 100 jurors to select from, there were zero black folks. Zero
In the pool.
in the pool
This is in Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh.
Ain't no black people in Pittsburgh.
Yes, I believe it's between 21 and 24% black.
How did you get a pool? I mean, a jury pool with no black people on it.
So in federal court, they the jury pool comes from 6 to 8 different counties, and so Allegheny County is where Pittsburgh is. It's 24% black. When you leave Allegheny County, that percentage drops dramatically. Okay, and so there were people coming from, one of the jurors was driving over 2 hours, every day to come to the trial.
Why though? I mean, what? Pittsburgh's in Allegheny County,
Yes.
so they were bringing in people from outside the county.
Yeah, so the jury pool was from Allegheny County, Beaver County, Westmoreland County, um, Butler County. So
Is that normal for a trial like that in Pittsburgh?
for in the federal case, right?
So this is a federal case.
Yes, the civil rights trial was in federal court.
Oh, the civil rights trial. Okay.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
So in my state court, for the criminal case, excuse me, I had about 3 black jurors on my jury.
Okay. Okay.
But this, the federal case, it was completely
Wow.
different.
Wow. Okay. Leon Ford, with us, folks. So, what's your son now? 5
Yes.
or 5 years old?
Yes, sir.
What's his name?
Leon Jr.
How's he doing?
He's good. He's my little motivation. He's by my side every step of the way. Every step of the way, he keeps me pushing. He keeps me grounded. He asks tough questions. He's been to every protest that I organized and that I was a part of, and so
You've been involved in some of the Black Lives Matter protests?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And what else are you doing?
I'm a motivational speaker. I talk about not only my experience with police brutality, but also overcoming adversity
Mm-hmm.
and how I made my way from being depressed, angry, even suicidal at some points, to doing what I'm doing now today, inspiring people, just being positive, graceful, being forgiving, and things of that nature.
What about the rest of your family? How did they? Your parents? You still have your parents?
Yes,
I noticed in one of the headlines that I was looking at, your dad was speaking out on your behalf, right?
yes, sir.
You said you had a very special relationship with him anyway.
Yes, sir.
This must have been devastating to him.
Yes, it was.
And what about your mother?
It was devastating for her as well. So my mom is very forgiving, loving, just beautiful spirit. And my dad, he has a warrior spirit. My dad, he's like he doesn't understand for the forgiveness that I have, um, and but he's supportive. He doesn't quite understand it, but he acknowledges what I do. He's able to see the impact that I'm having on so many people. So that makes him like kind of chill. And he's just getting to that point where he's like, yo, I see it, I see what you're doing. But he still has that anger and that hatred.
Yeah, yeah. 866 99 Series, 866 997 4748. Leon Ford here in studio with us. We're live Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. What I'm going to attempt to do for you all is take a look at this video that we have, and bring it up on YouTube, so you all will want to get in front of your social media and take a look at this. So this is the video, right? This is the right one that we're looking at right here, right,
Yes.
Leon. Can you bring my computer up, please, Brittany? Um, okay. So let's see if we can.
And checked his ID for 15 minutes. Officer David Barish joins the scene and searches Ford's car from the right. He thinks he sees a weapon. Barish says the other officers ordered Ford out of his car 3 times, and then they tried to pull him out. Barish jumps in on the passenger side. He says to make sure the car stays in park. And then Ford pulls off, and you hear gunfire.
Whoa.
Ford's attorney says he took off out of fear while reacting to overzealous officers.
So wait. Is that delayed or something? I heard the gunfire before the car moved.
Yeah, it's a delay by
Okay.
like a second or two.
All right. So it is what the narrator was saying. Was that accurate? You pulled off out of fear.
Yes, sir.
What were you thinking at the time when you did that?
I knew that they were going to do something to me,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't want to find out. I didn't want them to hurt me.
So as I'm looking at this now, what's going on right here? Do you remember? Do you remember exactly what's happening right here? What they're saying to you?
Yes, at that point, that's when they were, using racial slurs, saying what they were going to do to me if I was lying about being who I was, who I said I was. Even after, I told them, over and over again, my name is Leon Ford, not Lamont Ford. You have my driver's license. My car's registered to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you my address, but they insisted that I was lying. And they told me over and over again what they were going to do to me if they found out that I was lying.
What were some of the racial slurs that they used?
We're going to pull your black ass out the car. We're going to beat your black ass. They told me, I looked like Lamont Ford because, we had on the same white T-shirt.
This is the Pittsburgh police.
Pittsburgh.
So what white T-shirt? I mean, because from what you're telling us, Lamont Ford didn't even have a warrant. So was this even a real person?
Yeah, he was a real person, and actually he was killed in a police chase a year and a half after I was shot.
What were they looking for him for?
He didn't have a warrant, so
We don't know.
we don't know.
And all this came up in trial.
All this came up in trial, yes, sir.
Do you think that helped in terms of your acquittal?
No, sir. We didn't really talk about his experience in trial. We just stuck to the facts of my case that I wasn't Lamont Ford, that I provided, my driver's license, my registration, my car insurance, and also these officers ran over 400 plates during a shift from 3 to 11. I was shot around 9 o'clock p.m. And so from 3 to 9, they ran over 400 plates, and they testified that they did this because cars looked suspicious or out of place. So they were just harassing people during that shift. Um,
So I want to just look at this video again, and you all can watch it with us um, online. So right now they're saying these slurs, these epithets, and what have you. When you pulled off, was one of the officers still in the car?
yes.
And that's when he shot you as you were driving.
Yes, sir.
And so at the end, I couldn't really see it at the end. Did the car hit something here?
Yes.
Okay. Because you had been shot. What did you hit?
Some steps.
Okay.
Steps. Yes, sir.
And you say you were pretty much conscious the whole time.
Yes, sir.
Leon Ford with his folks. What a story. What's your ultimate plan for you, your family, your son?
Yes, sir. So my plan is to really use my story to inspire people, to evoke social change. There's some policies that can be put in place locally, statewide, and even nationally to prevent some of these things from happening. I'm very open to having conversations with police officers about the way that they are trained, and one day I hope to actually be a part of some type of police academy to help train law enforcement officers.
You should be.
Yes, sir.
You should be teaching at the academy. I chaired the police task force for the NAACP when I lived in Washington. James was telling me he's from Washington too, and a fellow Hoya, and we were just talking about that. But I taught a class on it. The title of the class was The Historical Relationship Between African Americans and Law Enforcement. The subtitle of the class was How Not to Kill Black People When You're a Police Officer. And we taught it right out there at the D.C. Police Academy. You need to be teaching in some of these academies. They need to see you and see what potentially can happen if they're not trained properly and if they don't deal with their own racism. I mean, it was under diversity awareness and sensitivity training is what it's called in the industry and in corporate America. So that needs to happen. How can people get the book?
So people can purchase the book on my website, www.leonfordspeaks.com, and I am on social media at leonfordspeaks.
LeonFordSpeaks.com. Folks, check it out. And I really appreciate you telling your story, man.
Thank
and
you.
your strength and your courage.
Appreciate it.
And I hope you all see and hear this brother's spirit. There's nothing threatening about this young man. He's still a young man. And this is happening to us every day. Brothers just like Leon, who are just going about their daily lives, not trying to hurt anybody, not doing anything to anybody. There's nothing threatening about you, but just being black, the color of our skin is what makes us threatening to them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
My heart goes out to you, man. Take care of that little boy too.
Yes, sir.
All right, he gonna need you, folks. If all minds are clear, have a great weekend, everybody. If all minds are clear, it has been made plain.
This world for us to live in. Made this